my very special thanks to the Japan Science and Technology Agency for organizing this joint workshop for the third time, in particular during such a difficult time globally. It's a pleasure to be included in this year's joint event, and I'm honored to be speaking to this group. I'm particularly pleased to see so many STM member publishers in the audience, but like to express a special welcome also to the Japanese audience to this part of the seminar, which is organized by STM. I hope you had some interesting talks this morning. Unfortunately, I couldn't join given the time difference, and more disappointingly, I obviously couldn't visit in person. I would very much have liked to have been there and to have met you all. Regrettably, that's not possible at this time. Communication like this, especially now, is really important to keep the industry healthy and vibrant. And knowledge is global. And though we value the human contact, we can organize efficiently and collaborate efficiently online in ways that are improving rapidly. I'll just introduce you a little bit to STM. As Tony said, we are the leading global trade association for academic and professional publishers. And our members collectively publish more than 66% of all the journal articles and tens of thousands of monographs and reference works. The majority of our members are small, not-for-profit organizations that represent tens of thousands of publishing employers, editors, reviewers, authors, and readers. And other professionals around the world, and of course, including Japan. They comprise the majority of a publishing industry that contributes significantly to global knowledge and the advancement and communication of research. We in STM support our members in their mission to advance research worldwide as academic and professional publishers, learner societies, university presses, startups, and established players. We work together to serve society by developing standards and technology to ensure research is of high quality. It promotes the contribution publishers make to innovation, openness, and the sharing of knowledge, and embrace change to support the growth and sustainability of the research ecosystem. As a common good, it provides data and analysis for all involved in the global activity of research, such as the STM Research Report Series. And our work in STM covers a broad range of subjects, supporting the industry's role in the research ecosystem. More details as to what's covered in our work can be found at the STM website. Looking at the publishing industry, we are part of a market that outsell estimates at $25.7 billion in its 2018 report. At that time, 41% of global revenue came from the USA, 27% from Europe, the Middle East, and Asia, 26% from Asia Pacific, and 6% from the rest of the world. The STM report of 2018 puts the number of scholarly peer-reviewed English language journals at over 33,000, with a total number closer to 60,000. The rate of journal growth per annum is about 3.5%, which has been constant for centuries. And this reflects the corresponding percentage research growth globally. There are over 100 million items of tagged research and over 70 million of peer-reviewed articles. The largest subject area is biomedical, some 30% of the total. Japan remains a science powerhouse with several high-performance institutions. This is taken from the Nature Index of 2018. And Japan is the 5th in the world in terms of absolute output. However, its share of the world's publications has decreased slightly. This is mainly due to the fast rise in output from economies such as China in particular. Japan's impact remains high, and its share of science and engineering publication output is in the top 1% of cited publications. Also, it's increased with several small institutions performing well. When it comes to expenditure on R&D, Japan is still on 3rd rank behind China and the US, but the speed of China's increase is remarkable. China's share in R&D worldwide has increased almost 5-fold, from 5% in 2000 to 24% in 2017. This rapid increase can be observed for most R&I indicators. Global spend on research and development has generally grown faster than GDP. Since 2000, total global research and development expenditures have more than tripled, from nearly 700 billion to 2 trillion in 2018, adjusted for current prices. To show the impact of this research, just take as a proxy the registration of new patents. Japan is still in the 3rd position after the US, while China is now outstripping the US on this measure for the first time, according to WIPO, with just under 59,000 new patent registrations a year. The role of the education sector seems fundamental to this, with 2 of the top 20 applications for patents by institution being made by universities in Japan, University of Tokyo and Osaka University. Scholarly communication is a complex system. Publishers are part of the functioning of the system. It creates and supports the infrastructure to manage the stages of publishing. It identifies and executes business models to make the process sustainable. It supports the researcher community to maintain standards and ethics. And it communicates research in a way that is accessible to government, industry, and individuals. We need to constantly remind decision makers that publishing is not a simple process of typesetting and formatting an article. It is wrong to look simplistically at this process and think the research ends at submission. Publishers are part of the research system. The expertise of the editorial teams first have to select the research that is worthy of publication from thousands of submissions. They need to verify the research, organize the peer review, check for plagiarism and mistakes in the data, and make all the necessary amendments, all before the version of record. Kent Anderson, in his 2012 piece on Scholarly Kitchen, talked about the 60 things that journal publishers do to add value to the research system. By 2018, this had become the 102 things that journal publishers do. As the volume of research grows, so does the responsibility of publishers to help find, verify, promote, and maintain the version of record. STM helps its members collaborate to achieve the shared, sustainable objectives of trust in the published literature, reproducibility of research, and open access. And the importance of the version of record has increased in a world where immediate access to articles anywhere in the world is theoretically possible to any person curious to read. This is where the important stamp that an article is verified and worthy of publication is an essential sorting mechanism to ensure that the public debate on science is well informed. And there's a permanent change here, and it's a critical concept to hold on to in a time of change, that the publishing market has always evolved and moved with new forms of definition of what publishing is, from the printing press to the internet age. In recent times, new business models like open access have developed rapidly. New sales models, such as transformative deals and consortia licensing, globalization and the growth of new centers of publishing, such as in the Far East, to the way research is conducted with the growth of data-intensive and data-driven science, and the globalization of research while more cooperation and transparency is required. Open science is becoming the new norm, and research data are playing an important role in achieving open scholarship. Today, we're all living in a data era, thanks to the arrival of the internet platform economy. And everybody leaves data traces everywhere. Data are the new currency, and the big data is power. In science, the data era had begun already long ago. Research data is the lifeblood of scientific discovery. Artificial intelligence techniques, fueled by the availability of data, could speed up discovery, improve analysis, and make science more efficient. Data science has its roots in the 20th century when computational sciences came up. In our current century, the big promise lies in artificial intelligence, combined with the huge availability of research data. This has the potential to create smart science, meaning that for a good part, the knowledge generation will happen in an automated way. Sharing research data is crucial to advancing science and research, which is essential for research integrity. It forms the basis in transparency, reproducibility, and provides new opportunities for scientific discovery and collaboration. And STM is actively engaged in promoting data sharing. To enable this, research data needs to be fair, which works in the English language, but I suspect not in the Japanese. By fair, we say findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. STM publishers have held a long-standing commitment to sharing data alongside publications. Publishers have founded critical infrastructure initiatives, such as Crossref, and have the experience and the expertise to further advance data sharing. Way back in 2007, STM issued the Brussels Declaration, which includes the following statement: raw research data should be made freely available to all researchers. A joint statement between DataCite and STM publishers followed in 2012, which included best practice recommendations to make research data easier to find, link to, reuse, and cite. Publishers make important contributions to ensure data is fair. For example, through the development of Scholix framework, allowing for the sustainable establishment of links between articles and data. STM is since many years an active member of various initiatives and organizations such as the Research Data Alliance. At the beginning of 2020, STM was nominated Research Data Champion in the FAIR's Fair project, a European project fostering fair data practices in Europe. In June 2020, STM signed a joint declaration with the RDA, deepening our collaboration to promote the uptake of standards and recommended practices developed by RDA. Publishers have an excellent track record when it comes to research data. But let's take a step back and have a look. Why do data matter, and what can publishers do to support this? Reproducibility is a ground rule in academia and one of the key aspects for trust in research. Recent studies show that reproducibility is not always a given. And we know, for example, from research conducted by Springer Nature that in some subject fields, that replicability is an issue for approximately 50% of research. This presents a real loss in financial and productivity terms. The study by Springer Nature could also show that there might potentially be a citation and productivity gain of up to 50% associated if reproducibility and replicability were improved. And a first step is to make data more open. Summing up all these failures, the estimated costs are about 10 billion euros per year for Europe for not making data fair, while potentially impacts by 2030 could accumulate to 30 billion euros and 50,000 jobs. Publishers are strongly committed to support researchers in the best possible way so they can focus on their carrying out research, and this is why there's need for clear data policies, but also better credit. The State of Open Data Report 2019, published by Digital Science, is the fourth in the series, and includes survey results and a collection of articles from global industry experts. It is now the longest running longitudinal study on the subject, which was created in 2016 to examine attitudes and experiences of researchers working with open data, sharing it, reusing it, and redistributing. Results of the 2019 report shows that journal publisher requirement moved up from fourth to third rank, and confirms that clear policies from publishers would support that more data are made open and hence fair. But there are other factors which would accelerate data sharing and motivate more researchers following this path. Data citations play a big role in this game, and the Open Data Report of Digital Science found that a total of 61% of researchers replied that data citations would motivate them to a lot to share their data. In light of its commitment to promote the sharing, linking, and citing of research data, STM declared 2020 to be our research data year. And as I always say, I think that this will be the first of many research data years. We designated it as STM as research data year to promote fair and open data as part of our commitment to open science, but that should be seen as the beginning of what will undoubtedly be a research decade, data decade. It's an absolutely fascinating and fast-moving part of the system. And the need to access and interrogate data sets used in research is fueling a very positive debate. Publishers are in a central position to make data sets available. The aim is to increase the uptake of sharing, linking, and citing research data and research publications. And I really want to emphasize the importance of that being a truly collaborative effort across the research system, but also one in which publishers can add great value. The availability of research data plays a vital role in ensuring reproducibility and the ongoing development of open science. There's an increasing need to ensure the availability, discoverability, and reusability of research data for all stakeholders. And in 2020, STM launched a dedicated plan to boost effective sharing of research data by increasing the number of journals with data policies and articles with data availability statements, increasing the number of journals that deposit the data links to the Scholix framework, and increasing citations to data sets along the Joint Declaration of Data Citation Principles developed by Force 11, the future of research, communications, and e-scholarship. A dashboard available to everybody will show the progress of this subject. One of our goals for the research data year is the increase of data availability statements, which can be characterized as the lowest common denominator, that all journals explain their data policies and show how the availability of data sets is being managed by the journal. A data availability statement indicates if and where data that supports the article can be found and allocated. As part of the research data year, we expect a substantial increase in the number of journals with data availability statements. And to conclude the STM 2020 research data year, let me provide you with an overview on our expectations. STM's constantly working to get more of our members involved in this program. Today, we can report that 18 members have joined the project and are implementing the policies and actions. We have many positive collaborations with funders, policymakers, institutions on research data and open science, and we hope that this might also happen here in Japan, and we are looking forward to more conversations on this topic and how publishers and other stakeholders can cooperate. A report highlighting the STM 2020 research data year highlights will be published, and we hope that this will stimulate more cooperation and collaboration. COVID-19 also changed the landscape for research data, and it became obvious that sharing of research data is essential to combat the pandemic. And STM is involved in various initiatives and is keen to support the research community that ensures that more sharing research data is happening. One of the recent developments to join forces is the joint STM Research Data Alliance Declaration, endorsing data sharing principles and inviting STM members to join this initiative. STM works closely with many stakeholders in this area to support recommendations and guidelines. What this pandemic clearly demonstrates is that cooperation is needed and not one stakeholder alone can solve this crisis. Publishers serve an important role in validating and disseminating research outputs, and STM's members actively explore how to improve upon and develop new solutions. These include supporting the pre-registration of research, investing in existing and new forms of peer review and infrastructure, developing automated checks for research misconduct, for instance, image manipulation, plagiarism, and so on, and more besides. There is the potential to develop these initiatives further, though, through wider collaboration across the scholarly communication industry, as well as a need for explicit incentives to encourage their use to advance the cause of open science, particularly through the use of technology to make the practice of research more open and collaborative. Challenges to quality, integrity, replication, and reproducibility will always threaten effective scholarly communication. While the academic community is always focused on research quality and integrity, there's always a way to improve those efforts. There are also opportunities to improve access through existing initiatives. Publishers have invested significantly in discoverability, search engine optimization, and other efforts to make sure that published articles can be found and used to advance scientific research. Initiatives such as seamlessaccess.org and GetFTR have been launched to accelerate access, and these could benefit from refinement and wider adoption. And many publishers are experimenting with and investing in tools to improve the dissemination of new forms of content, including video and interactive information, alongside efforts to promote the sharing of data, which I'll come to in a moment, and code. These experiments need to be fostered and recognized. As more content is made available, it'd be important to use these opportunities offered by machine learning and artificial intelligence to aid with synthesis, to identify themes and trends. Publishers have developed tools, services, and platforms that support and enhance machine learning, but machine learning and artificial intelligence are not without their own specific challenges. Funding incentives and intellectual property concerns will all need to be addressed to ensure that these opportunities reach their full potential. And I should add not least the issue of how artificial intelligence itself works, of which there are many challenges. Which takes me on to my final remarks. And I want to emphasize that STM is here for all publishers in the sector to join across the world. STM is organized into regional chapters, as we discussed earlier, and Tony is very active and very supportive and helpful for our work in STM in Japan. And we have other active members, Anders Clausen of Elsevier, the co-chair as well. STM's had regular visits to Japan, and I hope we value these opportunities to exchange information about the industry and STM's role in engaging with policy members to discuss policies that impact the industry as well as the latest trends in publishing and in research. I hope to continue these, hopefully soon in person, with the first of what I hope are many visits to Japan. We're all keen to have all voices as members, and we welcome publishers in Japan to attend our conferences, join in our webinars, benefit from our training sessions, and to join as full members to get the full range of service from STM. In the meantime, I'd like to thank the organisers again for allowing me the time to speak and to outline some of the work of STM and some of the opportunities for engagement and collaboration. It was an honour to be invited and to be given time to share my perspective. I do hope it's the start of a long and strong relationship, and please do contact me if you have any further thoughts, questions, or would like more information about STM or any of our services. Thank you.